I do feel proprietary over the word clown because I think it's a very difficult thing to do, and I think it's like what I spend my time trying to perfect, and I like trained in it. I've read books and like I
Clown theory.
clown theory.
Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
And I'm Kaya. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gents.
Some might call this the clown show.
Some might. I would say we act like clowns. It's all about ensuring a positive experience for the audience and having no fourth wall. I've always said that. That's kind of the art of podcasting.
That's so true.
We did go to school in France for a year.
Exactly.
And it is an old art form.
The ancient art of speaking our minds.
The ancient art of getting on mic.
We release every other Tuesday. Find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Rate, subscribe, review, share with a friend, and follow us on socials.
You guys can participate in the ancient art of following us on socials. What's been your scene lately, Den?
I have to say that my scene right now is being in a nautical hotel.
Have you ever done that?
No, I'm in a place of nautical hotel. I'm in San Francisco.
You're in your Steve Zissou living the life aquatic this week.
Who's that?
It's like the Wes Anderson movie about the guy who he goes underwater. Steve Zissou. Check it out, all my Wes Anderson heads. Very aesthetically appealing movie filled with the usual suspects.
Yeah, I should do like one of those Wes Anderson style TikToks here.
You should.
But really
and it's like you showing like the light switch cover and the pillows on your bed and standing in a very Moonrise Kingdom way, like arms at your sides, baby doll dress. Oh my God.
I'm showing the camera a star-shaped pillow with an anchor on it.
I love that. That's so you.
How so?
Like you in a you've always been so nautical.
Right,
it's so sweet
right.
that Donna booked this nautical hotel for you.
Literally the first thing I said to Donna was, I was like, this is like when Vanderpump Rules went to San Francisco. But I was more talking about vibe-wise because I remembered that they were like on the wharf doing touristy things. They like went on a boat ride and they all bought SF sweatshirts because they were cold. And then I was like, this really feels familiar. And then the next day I looked it up and sure enough, this is where the cast of Vanderpump Rules stayed and filmed their season 11 episode in San Francisco. So that is actually the content I would be creating, would be trying to recreate a scene from that episode.
I would love to see that. I still haven't watched any Vanderpump Rules, so you could act out anything and be like, isn't that crazy? This happened here. They did this here. And I would be like, what is this show about?
Last night was also the premiere of Love Island. What season is this? 8?
8.
Yeah.
Love Island USA.
I pointed at Ariana Madix and I was like, she was right here.
That's so crazy, honestly. She's so not a fleshed out to me.
She's so robot.
She's so robot as the host, and like she just keeps coming out in more and more ridiculous outfits. Like last night on this premiere of Love Island, she had this like little thing over one boob, and I guess I should try to describe this for people who haven't seen this show. She was wearing like a normal black dress, and then it seemed like it was like kind of a halter top, but then instead of the halter was only on one side of her body, and there was nothing covering like her left side from the belly button up on the left side of the torso. And so then the halter like wrapped around to the left side, and then it like went down into a little teardrop shape that just
It was
covered
kind of
her
like
boob.
if you're wearing like a little mink scarf is what it reminded me of.
Yeah,
And it was just
or like
resting on her breast.
okay, what it reminded me of is like almost like I don't know where this memory is from, but imagine someone who has a pair of like stuffed arms. Like someone's created a pair of like arms out of fabric and they've stuffed them so they're heavy, and then you like drape that as like a scarf over your shoulder. Can you imagine that?
That's so clown. Like
it
stuffed
is clown.
Arms.
It's kind of like Schiaparelli too. I feel like body parts as clothing.
Yeah. The whole look was
like
pissing me off. This is not beachy at all. Like she
no,
was wearing
she's
like
wearing
she had
stuff
brown hair with like not that you can't
not
have
beachy,
brown hair, but
immediately not beachy to have brown hair.
But it was styled in a way that you could never maintain on the beach. Like it was
dude, literally that I feel like we have zeroed in on her style for the show, which is things that would be impossible to actually wear to the beach for a beach themed show.
Yeah,
it's so
it was
annoying.
Like Audrey Hepburn almost like vibes, and the hair
like heavy and black, even though it only barely covered one boob. Yeah, helmet. It was like so heavy still. Like it's like the heaviest. Yeah,
like it looked
heavy
thick.
In the way that a stuffed arm would be heavy too if it covered your boob. Her next outfit on night 2, it's like a mini dress that's very like Princess Polly, like it just is giving nothing. It's like a classic sundress fit, like the kind of thing you would wear in like 8th grade to the beach. So it is possible at the beach, but then it's not because it's covered in like sequins and glitter, which would be really uncomfortable at the beach, and it's just giving nothing. And once again, brown hair, which we all know isn't possible to have at the beach. So it just
more
sucked.
so like she just doesn't look as good with brown hair. It's kind of like you didn't need to change anything. Like she looked so good season 1.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, this is such a tangent, but what I wanted to say before is she has such a weird personality on the show where she's neutral but amused, I feel like. Like she can't take sides, but she'll be like, I don't know, like I would love to see what instruction they give her in terms of like how to engage with the contestants, because she'll be like nervous laughing, and then she'll be like, Jason, you have some experience fighting fires, don't you? Smirk. And then Jason will be like, yeah, I'm a volunteer firefighter. I don't know. It's really like,
or she'll be like, that looked like a hot kiss. It's like the most opinion.
Yeah, that's like you could press like a button and she would say that. Or she'll be like
pull
it's getting steamy, Islanders. But like she never is like, whoa, that was gross, or like that's too far.
Yeah,
and
I feel
she
like
won't
she
even
could.
be like, we would like to see that.
I think if she wasn't scared, then she could show more opinion. Jeff Probst is such a good example of being a good host, but still his biases are kind of clear.
Okay, wait. What do you mean if she wasn't scared? Like, you know, like, she's scared? You think that's why she's like
I
this?
think unless like the network is like really like strict, but I feel like she's giving scared to deviate from the script.
This woman is petrified. Yeah. There's something really, and it's like this is her job now. Like she is the host. She's been doing it for years now. But she is giving scared. Like she's giving like, I have an earpiece in. Tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take out the earpiece and be yourself. So I just like can't imagine her, I guess. I've never seen her not scared, and I would like to see that. So maybe I should watch the show, or you can just recreate. Can you just do bits of Ariana Madix not scared in your nautical hotel?
I can try, yeah.
Okay.
What is your scene?
I wish it was being in a nautical hotel. I feel like I love staying in a place with like braided rope. Like,
I don't
and
know if
like,
there's any braided rope.
oh, or like
It's
life
just like
preserver on
the
the wall.
hallways look like how I would imagine being on a cruise ship in a way that like kind of scares me.
Mm.
And like when you walk in, it's like, welcome aboard.
I like that, but I feel like cruise ship hallways are weird because cruise ship is kind of supposed to be like it's supposed to be like the least nautical experience you can have on the water, right? Like in the hallway of a
Like you're
cruise,
kind
you
of supposed
shouldn't
to
even really
forget
be
you're
able to
on a
tell.
boat.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's not like a cruise ship. I don't know. It's just like really like long, tight hallways. I don't know. It just feels like I'm on a boat.
It's actually like an efficiency hotel, but they've just branded it as nautical so that you feel like you're on a cruise instead of in a prison.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that my scene this week is Nordstrom. I'm
Whoa.
back living in a city with a Nordstrom. There's no Nordstroms
Back to
in
the
San
home of
Francisco.
Nordstrom.
Oh yeah. There's no Nordstroms in San Francisco because the city is dead. Just kidding. I love SF, but Nordstrom didn't have the cojones to stay put, so we don't have it there anymore. And Drew and I went to Nordstrom this weekend and we just had a freaking blast. I kind of feel like Nordstrom is like, you know, when you hear about like private public spaces,
Yeah.
I feel like Nordstrom is actually like one of the best real world
Honestly,
examples
yeah.
of that. Like it's better than like a freaking rooftop Salesforce garden. Like I'm not going there to pee. I'm going to Nordstrom. I'm sitting my
love the
butt down in
Nordstrom
the women's
bathrooms.
lounge. I'm going to the women's
Yes.
lounge. I'm going to charge my phone there for half an hour. I'm going to use the bathroom. Nordstrom is like such a nice space. And yet there's no pressure to buy anything. Like I love the
Yeah.
tone they've set with their sales associates. It's like, can we help you? But literally no pressure. I love the lighting. I love the bathrooms. I ate at the cafe for the first time recently.
The cafe.
Yeah, I had never eaten there. It was like so nice. Such a nice experience.
It really makes, I mean, I haven't been there in years, but I feel like it really makes me feel like a lady who lunches. Like I'm going shopping and having a fun lunch break. Like
literally. But what's so fun too is it's like you don't even have to spend any money to have fun in Nordstrom. Like you can go there and like window shop for so long and not spend any money. You can just go to Nordstrom, window shop, try on a Gucci jacket for fun, have a lunch, and then leave and use the bathroom like 4 times while you're there and charge your phone. It's the best. I love it.
I mean, that's why we would go so much as teens. It's like so open for loitering.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. We need more spaces like that.
I guess it's like it serves kind of the same purpose as a mall.
Or like a public library.
Were there a lot of people in Nordstrom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because I'm worried.
It was like a sale. It was a sale weekend.
I feel like department stores are disappearing. Like I don't know how many cities have a Nordstrom.
I'm trying to mobilize our sisters to get out there, and you don't even have to spend money. Just go occupy Nordstrom. Put your body there.
It's like
flush that toilet.
It's like a library. It's not about them making money. Just if more people are using it, they'll keep funding it.
Yeah. Beg your city councils to pump money into Nordstrom to keep the merchandise on the shelf and keep that cafe dishing out soups and salads. Keep filling the toilets with water so that you can flush them. I love it there. All right. Well, anyways, let's get into it. What are we talking about this week?
Clowns.
Clowns.
Many people are afraid of clowns, which is why I said it in a scary way.
Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about that. But also, many people love clowns and love them or fear them. They're having a resurgence. So we have to talk to you about it.
Yes.
Do you want to share like how we came up with this topic and what your experience was like with clowning before you really got into it?
How did we come up with it? Was it from the Connor Story thing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I guess basically clowning has been brought forth in the zeitgeist. I think it was already happening pre this Connor Story stuff, but I feel like it really got accelerated.
I didn't know this was happening.
Connor Story is one of the stars of Heated Rivalry. He plays the Russian one. And in some interview, he mentioned that he had been doing some clown training. And this really got picked up. And then Vulture recently came out with a big article all about, especially the LA clown scene. A lot of people are like now becoming conscious of clowning as not just a kids' birthday party clowns with red noses or like scary clowns. It's like, oh wait, clowning is actually kind of like this alt comedy art form that people are doing.
Right. Like it had never occurred to me to suggest going to a clown show on the weekend to my like group of adult friends, but I feel like I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like equivalent to going to see like a play or like an open mic or something.
Or like a one-person show.
Yeah, a variety show, perhaps.
A variety show, perhaps. I feel like a lot of the stuff we saw growing up on Vashon was kind of clown.
I agree. I understand that not everything that seems like it's kind of clown is clown, but I do think we were seeing some stuff that was definitively clown. Like, I'm pretty sure we were interacting with people who have been clown educated and were performing that art form for us in local festivals and overnight gatherings and camps and things like that. We were definitely like engaging with clown as kids, and not in a birthday party way, in a high art way.
Yeah, but we just weren't conscious of it. So I guess prior to this, the last few months, I don't think I really knew that clowning was a thing beyond the kids' birthday party or like scary clowns. But yeah, we have definitely like experienced people doing characters and like doing theater in a way that breaks the fourth wall and is trying to make us have fun.
We've definitely been clowned on for a lot of our childhood.
Are you thinking of pirate camp as an example?
No, but that's interesting.
Well, you mentioned camps.
I mentioned camps because there was this thing on Vashon. Did you ever do Idlewild?
Oh,
Idlewild?
It's called Idlewild.
It is Idlewild. Yeah. So there was this thing on the island where it was like this festival that was very clown centric. Like they held it at a kind of open plot of land, and they had people. There was like a tent. I feel like people were on stilts. People were definitely being clowns. I feel like I was a clown in that. I can't really remember now, but I'm pretty sure that what I was doing was like clowning. Like we probably had like clown lessons. It was me and like a bunch of homeschooled kids.
Is it more circus or more clown?
Maybe it was like kind of more circus. And I will say, I don't think that I was pushed out of my comfort zone in any. I was reading about like, some people's clowning experiences. I was reading this article where this woman is taking a clown workshop and they're like, cry as loud as you can. And she's having this fit where she's crying and she ends up pounding the floor. Then she's curled into a ball and she's screaming and crying in the ball. And then her clown teacher came over and was like, do not hide your crying privately, cry like a clown. And then she has to get up and show her face to the audience. Like she was like, oh yeah, I was hiding my face, even though I thought I was like being dramatic. It wasn't like, so I didn't have any of that experience, but
yeah, you weren't sobbing openly.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I want to read some attempts at clown definitions from this Vulture article.
Okay.
And then the people we interview also give their clown definitions, but just in case you still don't really know, and this doesn't even really define it, but from the Vulture article, it says there are elements of sketch, but it's not sketch. Character work, but not every actor can be a clown. Experimental theater, but it's more. Stand-up without the tight fives. And improv, but it's not as rigid. Many clowns say they are the rejects of the improv scene. It includes strain of street performance, drag, weird dance, and to quote a clown, funny poetry. But really, I hear again and again, clown can be anything. And then one clown said, clowning is essentially finding the stupidest solution to the simplest problem, which I like that.
I wonder, like, I feel like after listening to the interviews, saying that clowning, many clowns identify as the rejects of the improv world. I feel like the clowns that you spoke to maybe wouldn't say that. Well, one of them is not a clown, but sorry, spoiler alert. Like, it really kind of seems like a different art form altogether. But I can see how you would like also maybe be good at improv if you're clowning, because it's so audience reactive. Like, you really have to like
there's
stay in tune
definitely
with
improv
the audience
involved. Yeah.
I feel like the more that I read about clowning, the less I understood about it. No, it seems like a really hard thing to define. Yeah. So maybe we can talk more about it once we play the interview.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit before we get into the interviews, though, about like why clowning is having such a moment culturally. Because it's really like jester gooning. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I like don't have a good explanation for why. It's just kind of interesting because it feels like a very like Gen Z thing, right? Like first I was like, oh, maybe clowning is like really having a moment because it's like these kids that are our age who have grown up with hippie parents who were raised in the 60s and 70s who were like more bohemian, and so then like they raise their kids in that way, and now people feel like comfortable pursuing this as like a livelihood. But I don't think it's that, because first I feel like it's like this isn't just like a general trend. It seems like it's like clowning has exploded like in the last year for some reason, and maybe it's all attributable to Connor's story, but I don't think so. So it's like too hyper specific time wise, and I also feel like that would be more like millennial clowning generationally, and this feels more like a Gen Z thing.
I don't think it's specifically Gen Z. Some of the clowns that kept coming up in my research were definitely like millennials, like Natalie Palamides. She like was featured heavily in the article, and she has had a bunch of write-ups about her one woman off-Broadway rom-com Weir, which was last year. I think she's in her late 30s. And then I feel like some of the other prominent clowns were also older as well.
So maybe it is like a millennial. It's like millennials are finally having public success with this thing that you just have to grind at for a while to get into the. It's just weird to me that it's happening like right now.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like other things that are clown adjacent that have gotten really popular in recent years. And I think this is like really uninformed about what clowning actually is. But the first thing that came to mind for me was like those videos on TikTok where people are like, they're like miming while the dialogue is like text on the screen, and they're like acting to the camera, but it's like a one-person show, you know, and it's like you only have 49 words left to speak, and when you speak your 50th word you will die, and then they're like, oh no, like mouthing. Like that's a little clowny to me. Well, I thought, but then I listened to the interviews and I was like, they're not breaking the fourth wall at all. Like the wall is like sharp. And also I feel like
clowning, something that's more clown on TikTok would be like people that do weird like public stunts, like that guy that just goes up to celebrities and starts singing at them.
Oh, dude, I hate that. I cannot watch those videos. That's like my kryptonite. Or like those people who are like, hey, can you film me for a second?
Yes.
And then they do something really bizarre.
That's kind of
might
like
be a little more clowny. Yeah, it is non-consensual. And also, maybe like TikTok can't be clowny because it's not so much of clowning is like feeling out the audience. But
Yeah.
maybe you could be like a clown on TikTok live. Should I be a clown on Instagram or a clown on TikTok live? That's a little I Love LA quote.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things like that could have tipped us off to the rise of clowns. And like I'm thinking of like clown aesthetics, which also seems like another separate thing. Like remember in like 2020, 2021, there would be like people on TikTok with kind of like clown adjacent makeup.
Yeah. Wait, maybe this was all kicked off by this girl. You remember the girl who had the very kind of broad smile? She was like kind of hot, but had the clown like face.
No.
People would like smile. It was like a thing to smile in a clown way, I feel like, during the pandemic. Oh, this is
That's
really,
funny.
you know, this girl. She was like British. And yeah, I feel like she would do clown makeup. And maybe this is all, I don't want to say it, but is this all freaking Harley Quinn Joker cosplay? Is this all
No, but I think we're
Suicide
getting away
Squad?
from like clowning the art form. And
Yeah,
okay, with clowning the art form, I feel like it just everything seems right for it. Like people that are desire to be like a performing artist, they're always searching for what is the next like cutting edge thing. And clowning feels perfect because it's like just like it's like alternative and unique, but it's also grounded in like theory. So you can be like, oh, I like went to school for this and I understand like the theory, but also I'm doing like this weird, bizarre thing that people don't really get. And that seems very appealing to artsy types.
Oh, it seems very appealing to me that there's a school you can go to for it. Like it's very
And
like, oh, I hate my job. I think I'm going to go back to school as a clown.
I was looking into the school. So like the premier clown school, the École Philippe Gallier clown school in France, the full course is a year. They have shorter programs too, but I just think first of all like that is so funny to me because people like roast so many types of grad school, I feel like, but the ultimate like I feel like fuck you parents would be like I'm going to clown school for a year.
Fuck you, mom. I need you to fill out my FAFSA for clown school. I need you to tell me my expected family contribution. I'm about to get in a mountain of debt to go to clown school. No, 100%. It's like, what are you going to run away with the circus? Well, yes. And I'm also going to incur a lot of debt in the process.
Yeah, I will say it's only 8,700 euros for the year, which is not that much by US standards, I guess because it's in Europe.
Yeah, that is.
But just like I feel like to be able to take a year to commit to clown training, like that takes so much faith in yourself. So, you know, I admire that about the clowns that went for it. Like you either got to be like really rich and you're like fine just kind of taking this year as just doing something fun, or you like really feel like you're going to be able to make it as a clown.
A lot of other creative things where you can go back to school for it, I feel like it's like you really have to like have already done a lot of the work yourself. Like it's like, okay, if you want to do like an MFA program, like you should be like writing on your own, you know what I mean? And then you have to apply and everything. And like, or if you want to go to like theater, like I just feel like a lot of that stuff, it's like you do the grad program when you know it's what you want. But with clowning, it almost feels like since it's a protected art form, it can truly be the first step. If you're like, I want to be a clown, which just feels easier. I mean, you obviously have to spend the money and take the leap, but it seems like a nice way to get started. Like, okay, I'm going to class. Give me my schedule. I don't know anything. I'm a blank slate ready to become a clown.
I love the concept of like, you go to clown school for the connections.
So, yeah, it's like an MBA.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to clown school to spend a year in a small town in France. Like, that sounds awesome.
I know. The other interesting thing, my understanding based on kind of limited research, is this is like the premier clown school, but there's no auditions or interviews. And I looked at the application. It seems like, and it's like just first come, first serve.
What must not be that big of a demand. Like,
yeah.
I kind of want to go. Sorry to get ahead of it, but that sounds fun to go spend a year there.
I think it would be really scary, like the actual curriculum. I mean, improv is.
You want to jump straight into clowning. You don't want to have to do all the other things first.
I don't want to have to cry.
Yeah. And let's unpack that. Like, maybe if you don't want to have to cry, that's like exactly what you need to be doing in front of a French person who's going to give you a bad score.
Also, in the Vulture article, they talked about some clown class in LA where they just kept being like, break the rules. And it would be like a pair, and like one person would get on the other person's back and like ride around and stuff. And then they would be like, what rule did you break? Try again.
Break the rules. I pull out a gun. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I don't think I'd want to break the rules so much, but it's also like, I feel like people would really respect you for being like a really classic clown too. Like if you could just be like really good at like the old classic stuff, like if you really wore the nose right and you really like, I feel like you can go one of two directions. You can be like avant-garde, or you could just be like classic clown.
The red nose is the tiniest mask. That's something else they said in the article.
I agree with you about all of that. It does seem really appealing to creative types. I also think it's like, I can see the appeal of being like, I want to embrace the ridiculous. Like, I feel so disillusioned with the world. It's kind of like end of days. It makes sense to me that people want to become clowns because it's like nothing matters.
Yeah, totally. It's like tied to the rise of Dadaism among the youth. Like,
yeah.
Nothing matters. Like, let's be as absurd as possible.
I don't think I appreciated the breaking the fourth wall element as much until you spoke with the clowns, but I do feel like that's a nice thing. And maybe, you know, everyone's talking about how this latest generation, like no one interacts with each other in person anymore. And it's definitely a way of like kind of confronting, like you really have to interact with people in person. It's like a very locked in form of entertainment. Like you can't be on your phone at a clown show because the clown will come over and be like, grab your phone and like do something with it. No texting during a clown show. Do you want to talk about your experience going to the clowns?
All right. So when we decided to do a clown episode, I started looking into clowns near me. And I found
clowns near me is so funny. Clown near me open now.
And I found that the Atlanta Fringe Festival was happening soon. Honestly, Fringe festivals could be like its own scene that we
I was going to say we should go to Edinburgh.
Yeah, we should. But yeah, there are fringe festivals in a lot of cities. And this one had a few clown performances. They were not all categorized correctly. So I looked at the website and I think I basically searched clown, or there was also like a drop down to filter by categories of performances. And I found two. So I guess Kaya already kind of said, but spoiler, the first one I thought was going to be a clown. Janoah Bailin, Z's are pronouns, but Z did not end up being a clown. But I will still talk about that experience because I actually think it was helpful to see something that could be mistaken for a clown but wasn't, like, because we've been talking about like, oh, anything can be clown. So to see something and be like, why is this not clown, was also helpful.
Yeah, okay, that actually reminds me, this is getting a little ahead, but the next interview you did with Mr. Cardboard, they used the term via negativa, which I had never heard before. So I looked it up as I was listening to the interview. And I guess it's like this principle. I think generally it's used in a religious context, but it's like the idea of coming to know something by understanding what it's not. I feel like your experience with Zur was like kind of via negativa ing
Yes.
clowning.
Totally. Anyways, so I went to Janoah's performance not really knowing what to expect. I brought like 4 people with me, and I think total the audience was maybe like 15 of us. So pretty small. Okay. Definitely would not have been on my phone. I feel like one thing, bless you, Janoah did really well was making a lot of eye contact. So I definitely felt like, okay, like I am being seen by this person. But yeah, the show had a bit of everything. It started out with Janoah unicycling and stripping at the same time. But one thing that I feel like is different than most clown shows is Zur onstage persona wasn't like distinct from Zur real persona. Like I feel like Z was just Janoah on and off stage.
I'm curious to know like what Z looked like physically, especially if there's not really a distinction between like Janoah and then the persona on stage.
I don't think Z was wearing makeup, but the interesting visual component was that Z had completely shaved half of Zur body. So one half was like hairy, including like a beard, and one was like completely clean shaven. And that was because a lot of Zur's show was about Zur chronic pain, which was only on half of Zur body. So like a big theme of like the show was like
a half, like
2
sideways
halves.
or like top or bottom.
No, like sideways, like one leg, one butt cheek, etc.
I see. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And there was audience engagement. Like, for example, during the stripping, Z was like throwing Zur clothes at people. And then, yeah, there were like a lot of multimedia elements. There was like some projection and like pre-recorded stuff. There was a karaoke component. There was a lot of juggling. There were definitely jokes, but it wasn't like all intended to be funny. Like there was also like serious elements as well, which like I do think there can be in clown shows, but
for sure. Well, I feel like sometimes the serious elements will make the lighter elements more meaningful, like
yeah, or like funny. Yeah.
Let's play the interview.
I was curious because I feel like I haven't seen like a really formal definition for what clowning is, but do you have a definition?
Oh,
Or like
I don't even know if I really think of myself as a clown.
Oh, really?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't have like, I know this sounds silly, but I don't have like formal clown training. Like some people like go to school or take classes, and I've taken some, but and I think there's people who are like way better like standalone clowns than I am, and I think part of what I'm doing is like mixing a lot of subjects together. So a definition of clowning, I think it's playfulness and presence. I think are like 2 really good helpful things. So there's something about like being connected to an audience and like going where the energy goes that's really important, and I feel like I do that sometimes, and then sometimes I'm stressed about time.
So if someone does ask you what kind of performance do you do, like what do you tell them? What's your short answer?
I think I identify mostly as a juggler.
Okay. Nice.
And I just simply because like I think of juggling as a metaphor for like you like we say we're juggling lots of different things in your life, right? And I think that's what I'm doing on stage is I'm just like hopping back and forth between different mediums, basically.
How did you get into what you do, like performance art?
I started when I was a kid. A lot of the skills I have came from when I was a kid, and you just don't think about it and you just do it and you're having fun. I was in a circus when I was a kid too, a pretty professional, like pre-professional touring circus called Circus Smirkus. I was going to let it go and go off and do other things. And then at the end of college, I kind of got hooked back in.
So you performed as a kid and then basically like your whole adult life as well?
Yeah, pretty much since college. I worked a couple of odd jobs, and then since the pandemic, I'm supporting myself entirely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, on performance.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Is this a lot of touring?
Yeah, I mostly tour New England.
Do you engage with a lot of other performers, other jugglers?
Yeah, so I think that's the magic of the Fringe, and it's why I keep doing it, that the performing community is so strong, and just like everyone is really excited, and like the audiences are excited, and you get to try out new stuff, and so I like to run my shows through the Fringes before I put them in different other settings, and the artists are just such a big part of that, because like when I make actual money doing this, it's much more lonely. It's like I'm on my own. I get put up in a nice hotel room, but I'm just by myself, and so the Fringe is so nice because there's just this amazing artist community. Especially the Canadian circuit has this whole like touring section basically of people that you meet at every festival or like 2 festivals down.
Do you feel like your persona on stage is just you, or do you feel like it is like you're doing a persona?
I go back and forth on this one. I think it is very much a version of me, and really like highly connected. I think it's more nervous. I think I'm much less nervous in real life. I had characters until I like retired a show and then remade it, and then I was like, oh wow, I had this character and I can't do it anymore. Like I had kind of moved on as a person, and the character that I made for the show, which I thought was just myself, turned out to be a character. So yeah, I think each one has its own little character that probably comes from how I'm feeling.
Do you engage like with the clowning community at all?
I mean, yes, in that I love watching it. Like I really take a lot from watching the clowns on Fringe, and I think they're so amazing, and I love how loose they are. Like they're willing to just like go on stage with not a lot. Like I really appreciate that. This show was hard for me because it's much less funny than my other shows. I think my other shows have been a lot more like the goal is to make people laugh, and this one just like that wasn't really the goal. The goal was to tell a story. The first 2 renditions of it afterwards, I was just like, oh, this is so sad, and it just didn't feel right. My goal is to make this one a little more lighthearted while like also keeping the depth. But I think the way I sort of see it is the goal of clowning and circus are these like big things that are supposed to attract you and like pull you in, and then there's something underneath that you get caught in to listen to and learn from. And so like the clown gets you to laugh, but then you're trapped, and then you're laughing, but you're also like listening to the depth. And same thing with this. I think the goal of circus, in my opinion, not all circus, like there's just pure fun circus too, and I do a lot of that. But at least in the like theatrical shows that I want to make and I'm making, I think, is that I'm bringing somebody in. Like the audience comes and they're like, "Oh, cool! I'm going to see some juggling," and then what they wind up in another show. I teach them how to juggle, or like, and talk about juggling as a metaphor. Or in this one, I'm talking about chronic pain, which is maybe one of the biggest. I think one of the like biggest issues in the U.S. in terms of its effect on people.
Okay, so like you consider yourself more on the circus side versus clown, and like is the difference mainly because you're doing more like juggling and like tricks?
Yeah, I think I have an agenda.
Okay.
In a way that I feel like a lot of clowns are a lot more like they're gonna listen to the audience a little bit more, and I think I have like things programmed a little bit more.
Yeah.
I have a trajectory, and I'm not saying that other clowns do not. And
but it's perhaps more improvisational.
Yeah, or they're like willing to go down those pathways.
Yeah.
I think there's more clowning in the show than I would like give credit for. I think that like unicycle striptease is very clowny.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I feel like all of the parts that I laughed at, those were all the parts that Z said were most like clown.
So like clown elements, but Z is not a clown.
Right. So like elements where Z was like juggling and telling jokes about their exes was like kind of clown. But also like specifically one way that Z differentiated herself from clowns was like because Z did more circus. So
Yeah,
that
like
was confusing.
Z was like kind of being a lot of parts of the circus, whereas clown is normally like a more distinct, like
yeah, like you're not really doing like tricks that are supposed to be impressive as a clown.
Right.
At the beginning, Z made us all hold pinkies and say, I promise not to feel bad for Janoah when he messes up their tricks.
That's really funny. I mean, Zay can't control how you feel in the show. Maybe that's part of it. It's a funny thing to ask people to do because it's like,
yeah,
it's very apologizing for your feelings. Like, you can't make me promise not to feel away while I'm consuming your art.
Right.
One question I have with respect to this show is maybe it's not as relevant because Zare's not a clown, but what was your sense of like how Z wanted you to feel watching the show?
I think like definitely sometimes amused, sometimes like impressed, and then I guess like, wow, like that was really interesting. I'm connecting with these themes.
Of like chronic pain.
And of the divided self.
Yeah.
Because that was like the main theme throughout was like a person that's two halves.
Uh-huh. All right, on to the next.
Okay, so then I was like, all right, well, I definitely need to talk to someone who does identify as a clown. And
I definitely need to find a clown.
I need to find a clown ASAP. So this was like a very different experience for many reasons. I went alone. The clown show I went to was Mr. Cardboard, which is a show by the clown Miles Calderon, and he performed at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night, late night, and I feel like people
prime time
were really ready to laugh. Like for one, it was a packed house. It was still really small theater, so it was still only like 25-30 people, but like definitely possible that people had been consuming some substances prior to 10:30 on a Saturday night, but also like probably people were seeing other shows before. Like I feel like people were just like really ready to laugh.
Yeah, our hearts were open to clowning.
Yeah. And every single line was killing. Like everything Mr. Cardboard said, everyone laughed. It's a one-man clown show. He is wearing a costume, which is like white face paint, dark mustache, like overalls with like this structure within to make the hips go out really far. And he's doing a French accent the whole time, and he is made of cardboard, supposedly. Like that's what his character is. So I feel like already it's like, whoa, like this is a character. And even if he like hadn't been killing, like I don't think I would have ever felt bad for him, like because I'm like, it's so detached from like his real life persona. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's already so much less vulnerable.
Right, like it's kind of interesting that for the first performance, Z had you say, I promise not to feel bad for Janoah, because that's like literally it's saying like, I am Janoah still.
Yeah. And then basically he was doing little bits as this character. He would like take out little props from inside his pants, like pieces of cardboard, and like ask people for things they wanted him to make out of it, and then he would just like do some little snips and be like, it's a dolphin. He would also like pull, like, he had a fake baby he pulled out at one point, and then there was like an overarching like plot where he took us all
I'm
to
already
the land
laughing.
where he took us all to the land of cardboard, and like the wolves were gonna come, but we had to save the cardboard land. It was very like interactive too. Like the thing was, he had to get everyone in the room to be the happiest they had ever been in their lives in order to save the land of cardboard. And when people,
that's fun. Like, I feel like that's almost like you're clowning then. Like, feel the happiest you've ever felt in your whole life. I can like see that as a prompt, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he would ask people like what made them happy from childhood, and like kind of riff on that. And then like at the end, he did have like a point where he was kind of not the clown persona, like he was Miles, like he took off his makeup and like wasn't wearing the giant pants, and he did like a guitar song, and I was like, whoa, like this really seems like a different person, like the French accent was gone. And then he came back at the end as Mr. Cardboard. But like, oh, something also that was funny was like, this was honestly really distracting, but I was in the back corner next to the sound guy, and I was in the back row, so there was also like someone from the Fringe Festival there, and she held up the like sign that's like 5 minutes left when it was 5 minutes, and then he was not supposed to go past 11:30, and then like at 11:30 like she started getting really mad, and she like went over to the sound guy, and like she was like loudly whispering, like so loud, she kept being like, cut it, like you have to cut it.
That's
and
crazy.
I was like, I know, because I'm like, he probably doesn't have that much longer, and like that would like really ruin the vibe and be like such a weird experience if like the lights just went up.
Totally. Like, talk about not feeling the happiest you've ever felt. Seeing a clown pulled from the stage, that would be horrible.
They bring out one of those canes and yank him off.
That would be kind of clown. That would be the way to do it. Don't cut the sound. She should have a cane ready.
And the guy kept being like, I don't know what you like. I'm not like, he was like fighting back basically. So
and you're just like sitting there.
Yeah. And then show ended. A few people gave a standing O. I had previously been DMing with Miles, so I went up and I was like, hey, like, it's me, Yarden from the DMs. And I was like, should I just wait outside? And he was like, I just have to clean up. But he was like, no, like, you can just stay in here. And then I was like sitting there for maybe like 15-20 minutes, and it was like just people that were working there, and then they were like talking business, and I'm like literally just sitting there. I'm like, everyone's probably like, who is this random girl? Like, I was like, I need to have a media pass, this looks so awkward. So they were like having this whole talk. He was just being Miles at this point, and it was like, wow, you're so different. But he still had a little bit of makeup on, and at the end of him getting a talking to, he was like, do I still have shit on my face? And they were like, a little bit. And he was like, we'll just pretend that whole conversation was without that. Just funny.
That's funny.
Also, a funny quote was like, one of the people that was working for the festival was like, I know, like, timing is hard, especially with clowns.
I'm gonna start using that.
I know. I just feel like anything you say with clowns sounds so funny.
Yeah, well, it's like anything that's like not clowning that's about clowns is really funny. Because like all the business behind the clown.
Right. Like then when I texted Donna, I'm going out with the clown.
So yeah, okay, so tell us about that.
I didn't actually go out with them. Like the next hour was me chasing around a clown.
A wild clown chase.
It was a wild clown chase. No, I didn't feel clowned. Miles, if you're listening, it's all cool. But basically everyone was gone. I went outside with them, and it was like Miles and then the sound guy and this other person that had been like sitting in the back row were with him. And I was like, do you want to just talk out here? And he was like, oh, I just feel bad keeping these guys waiting. Like, wait, but would you be able to give me a ride home after? And I was like, where do you live? And then because he doesn't live in Atlanta, but he's from Atlanta. So he was staying with his parents, I think. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I could give you a ride. But then, like, he really wanted to buy a drink for the people he was with. So he was like, actually, like, can we go to Lloyd's, which is this pizza place that was like a 5-minute drive away? So I was like, sure, should I just like get in my car and meet you there? And he was like, yeah. And then I like got in my car, I put it in, and I saw that it was closing at midnight, which was in like 3 minutes. So then I tried to drive past their car and tell them, but while I was driving, our cars passed. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just following them to Lloyd's.
And their car was a clown car, so there was like 50 people in there, and it was
Yeah.
like there were flowers coming out of the windows and stuff, and they kept honking the horn, and it sounded goofy.
Yep. I was in the clown car parade, and then we pulled up to the parking lot, and they were like, oh, it might be closed. And I was like, yeah, I think it's closed. So then we went to a bar that was like another 5-minute drive away, and that place was like still open. I waited with them while they like got beers and made small talk, and then we found like a quietish place outside and did the interview. So we can play the interview now.
All right, so
2 laughs, easy.
the clown can't stop doing gags.
And that's how you know it's a clown.
So I was saying yesterday I went to a show that was categorized as clown, but then I talked to the person and they said I'm not a clown. You were going to speak on that.
I do feel proprietary over the word clown because I think it's a very difficult thing to do. And I think it's like what I spend my time trying to perfect. And I like trained in it. I've read books and like I
Clown theory.
Clown theory. I feel like I have a grasp on what the scene is, but very recently it became very popular for whatever reason. And there are many different scenes, and they're all kind of using the same word to describe kind of vastly different art forms.
Yeah.
So there's like drag clown scene where they're using like clown iconography. You know, they're being subversive and pushing the art form of drag, but it's very different art form than clown. But, you know, they're using kind of American clown iconography. And then there's like a lot of clown that goes on in New York that's just kind of like performance art in crazy clothes. You know, there's a school of thought that's like, just follow your impulse, man. You know,
like anything
can be clown.
Yeah.
Any performance is clown. And it's like, well, then what are we doing here? You know, I would say clown is about playing games with your audience to make them laugh. You're being sensitive, and you're in a conversation that has no fourth wall. I think like through doing clown, you discover how to be more vulnerable and like show yourself.
Your definition is playing with the audience to make them laugh. Is that what you said?
I would say theater without a fourth wall.
Yeah.
For humor.
Gotcha. Cool.
That is sensitive to the audience, like reactive.
Yeah. What was your training like? What training have you done?
I went to École Philippe Gaulier in France. I did a lot of improv and sketch and sort of like exploring the world of like character humor kind of on my own in Athens, Georgia. And then I went to New York and was like seeing shows there and watching things, you know, on the very outskirts of comedy. And I heard this word clown coming up a bunch. And in researching it, I found that there is like one school to go to, essentially. And it was this one in France. And I had just gotten EU citizenship. And so I was like, if any time now, and I know I want to do comedy, so let's do it.
And how long ago was that?
That was 2023.
Okay.
And I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for being funny school. And the first unit I was in was melodrama. And I realized, oh, actually, this whole thing is going to be acting. And that was the girth, the width, the depth. That was most of the training. It was like physical theater, learning how to have presence and dignity and space and like listening to rhythm. And then the very final thing that you do is then clown. Once you have all these kind of like
The foundational blocks.
foundational concepts and like a language for describing how humans interact. And then you have fun doing it and you learn how to play. It's a lot about play.
Yeah.
The first unit that they teach is called Le Jeu, which is the game.
So how long was it?
They do shorter programs, but I was there for a little bit over a year.
Oh wow! And was it in French?
It was in English, but the town was in French.
Gotcha. Is that where the Mr. Cardboard persona was born?
Yeah, that's where I discovered Mr. Cardboard. So the way Gaulier worked is you would prepare something all week, or it would be like an improv exercise, but you'd get up there and you would try to be funny, or you would try to do the exercise well, and they were all very difficult and kind of designed for you to fail. And then when the energy started dipping, or you were not giving, they would hit the drum, and Philippe, this old Frenchman, would be like, 000, goodbye immediately. 000. Boring.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Once I had a teacher, David, he was like, he hit the drum and he turned around and he's like, wow, what a funny guy. How funny is he? Wow. He's really funny.
Damn.
Yeah. And then Carlo, who is the voice of Mr. Cardboard, he'd be like, and tell me, do you hear that? It's like, what? A silence. They're just like, you're up there and you're kind of in crisis mode or panic mode when you first start performing. You're searching for anything. It's really hard to just calm down and lock in to the audience. And so this via negativa, this like pedagogy, the idea is that it wakes you up. It lets you know how the audience is viewing you right now. And sometimes that like feels mean, or sometimes that like, everybody's laughing at you or at these comments. They're kind of keeping the energy up by addressing what is going on in the room. But yeah, sometimes people cry, but it's usually more like when it butts up against something they can't admit about themselves or something they're insecure about. But I feel like clown is about coming to terms with yourself, showing off your real self to people.
Not just for this point of cruelty.
They are not being mean for the point of cruelty. They actually do really care about students growing. They're going to be firm. They're not going to tell you that anything is good if it's not. They expect really high standards. But I think if you go through that, all of the people who come out of it, maybe not all, but like, a good decent number of the people who come out of it, if they connect with this work, are like very hyper attuned to the specific details.
So what is the scene like in New York?
It's fractured. I think it's some people who went to Gaulier, some people who are in the kind of Edinburgh fringe zeitgeist. I would say the UK and like LA has a different flavor, but they're at least like tuned in, are kind of the hubs of clown. And New York, being a big market, is getting there just because people want to live in New York. But it doesn't have like as long or as strong of a clown scene. But it's kind of blowing up right now there, just exciting, as it is everywhere. But it's a lot of like not sensitive clown or not good clown. So it's like I can't watch a performance where people are heavy on their feet anymore.
What do you mean by that?
Like if I can hear their feet on the stage, I'm like, It makes me like
the technique's not there.
It's just like I want to be dreaming around you, and you are a body, and I'm thinking about your knees and the stage, and it's like, oh, the dream is broken.
Right.
And I think that's like a little harsh. Like my girlfriend, she went to this other clown school for a little bit, but has way more of a background in like traditional theater, which was a big blind spot for me. And she does like theater of the absurd. But for a while, and still like, their first show, they played rodeo clowns. She's a part of this duo called Chloe and Natasha. And it is physical theater, and it is like funny in times, but it is like a strict play. There's like no fourth wall acknowledgement. It's like a lot of people called them clowns in their advertising because they would put a little red nose on, and it's just like it's an ancient art form, but it is not something a lot of people know about. Yeah. And so the word has an imagery associated with it that, I don't know, confuses the brand.
For sure. What do you do to get in character before the show?
Whatever I have time for. When I put my makeup on, I look in the mirror once it's done, and I'm kind of like, he's there. I do feel a certain freedom when I am him, and it does feel separate from when I am me.
Do you have any specific clowns you look up to?
I mean, I hate his guts. I don't hate his guts. I love him. Zach Zucker. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Love you, Zach. Natalie Palamides, massive for me. Dr. Brown, huge. Dr. Brown's amazing. It is cool, like, there are people who are clearly further along than me, but they have kind of become peers or are becoming peers, which is really cool.
Is there anything else that you want people to understand about clowning that you haven't mentioned?
I want some marketers to get in there and start branding these different art forms for us, so that people can kind of have a little bit better discourse, and so that audiences can know what they're going into. Yeah. I wish people would be nice to the audience. I see so much performance where people are just like abusive to the audiences. I think if an audience is giving you their time, you should give them something amazing.
Like getting laughs by making fun of people?
No. I think that can be tactful. I mean, like, yelling, doing gross stuff, even like just getting too close to people, making people uncomfortable. I think it's not an art form about making people uncomfortable. I mean, there's like tension and release, and like, different people have different tolerances, but like your job as a clown should be bringing joy to everyone all at the same time. If you've never been to a clown show, you should go and hope it's a good one.
Yes, yeah. I hope so too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's everything.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for letting me ramble.
At the beginning, when there's like some laughs from me, so basically the bit that he was doing was putting the mic in his mouth.
That's funny. I found this really interesting. It's funny that you had these back-to-back experiences of someone being like, I'm not a clown, and then someone else being like, yeah, not everyone is a clown.
Yeah.
It's a very consistent theme we're getting here.
Right. And that theme is like clowning should be gatekept.
Yeah. But I get it. Like, it's like you went to school for it. We need the MCAT or the bar for clowns.
Like, you should have to have a license to clown. License to clown.
License to clown, baby. Permission to clown, sir?
My first takeaway was just like, whoa, like, clowns take themselves really seriously.
It's funny. I feel like some of this feels like it's all like very French to me. I think the word I was searching for earlier is like there's something very prestigious about clowning. And
yes,
it's like
yes.
The art form is being protected. You have to go to certain institutions, theoretically, for people to like take you seriously as a clown in certain circles. And like it seems like at least these French clown schools are like, they're definitely like doing the work to keep the art form protected.
Mm-hmm. And then his definition was like theater that breaks the fourth wall and is for the purpose of making the audience laugh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, something that I really liked about what he said was about how clowning should be bringing joy to everyone all at the same time, which is like such a tall order. I do feel like it's like the lazy thing to do is to kind of like make fun of one person at the expense of the rest of the audience. And like he said, like there's a tactful way to make fun of the audience, but the goal of trying to make everyone joyous at once while still doing audience participation, like that's a tall order.
I feel like that's a big differentiator with like comedians, because I feel like comedians, their audience interaction is usually just straight up like roasting audience members.
Definitely. Although sometimes it can be bringing joy to everyone because it is like kind of a self-selecting thing when people heckle comedians. It's like, okay, so you want to do that. Like you are that type of person, I guess.
But sometimes they'll just do it for people that are like not heckling.
Just sitting there catching strays.
Yeah. And yeah, Miles definitely, I would say, like did a good job like with audience interaction that wasn't like at the expense of the audience. But I do feel like with Miles saying you need to make everyone have fun, the most fun, like all the time, his show was really taking that literally with the concept of we can only save the land of cardboard if everyone's having the most fun.
Yeah, totally. I do feel like there's something kind of clown-like about being really literal about joy. Like it's like, oh, like try cracking up in the mirror. It will make you feel better. That feels very clowny. But there's also like, you know, we know that like laughing makes you happier, even if you're like not happy when you're laughing. Okay, him talking about the school is just so funny too. Like a 000 is so funny. They're just like clowning as hard as they can until the teacher like just every time gives them a horrible score. It's like so humiliating.
I know. That is
000.
that's why I don't think I would like clown school.
But like if everyone is getting a 000, I feel like it would be like a good, it's like exposure therapy bonding to like rejection. It would be bonding. Yeah. I feel like you really don't have to feel bad for Mr. Cardboard, even if they're flopping, because we know that he's gone through this rigorous program where he's been like exposed to ridicule and 000 over and over again. True. It really builds your skin.
Yeah. Maybe that's probably like one of the key things that it does, is because I feel like to be that kind of performer, whether it's clowning or not, like to be like someone that does something like a one person show doing weird stuff, like you have to be okay with kind of being humiliated sometimes.
Totally. It's so vulnerable, so you have to not be.
I forgot to ask him this, but it seems like the nature of the art, like there's really like a limit of how big a show could be, because like it's all about breaking the fourth wall and like playing with the audience. Like you couldn't do that in an arena.
Yeah, although I do feel like the clowns at Cirque du Soleil do a good job. Like there's an interplay there. Like they do interact with the audience to an extent. And that's like a very clowning forward circus, I feel, compared to there's no like game animals there.
Yeah, true. Okay. So it's like you're breaking the fourth wall by talking to them. You're just not like interacting with them. Like you're not getting the input back from the audience.
I feel like maybe clowning in the context of a traditional circus. I've never been to a traditional circus, but definitely in Cirque du Soleil, it's like part of their whole bit is the clowns come out and the rest of the show is not breaking the fourth wall, but then the clowns are. So they're like kind of in it with you. You know what I mean? Like it's that contrast that maybe makes it more like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
I want to go to some smaller clown shows. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this like internet clown stuff I did some research on before we wrap it up. I found this very famous Reddit post that has this hypothetical that I wanted to walk through with you. This is from March of 2020, and this person says fiance. Literally, this person says fiance 26F, not happy to find out I 26M was a clown. And it's this person describing this really specific situation where They were like self-quarantining with their fiance. They were spending a lot of quality time at home together. And then one night, this guy says they were having fun and joking together. And I jokingly said that everyone does weird things for money when they're in school, like start an Etsy or sell feet pics. She joked back and fake accused me of selling drugs. I told her it wasn't anything illegal or illicit, but then accidentally let it slip that it was just embarrassing to me personally. After a second, she stopped laughing because it became real. We talked about it. I said I didn't want to talk about it because it's super embarrassing and it isn't who I am at all. And she said, I understand, and didn't ask anything else about what he had done for money for a couple days. But then after a couple days, she was like seeming really uncomfortable. And so it came up again. And then he was like, well, this is the woman I want to marry, so I guess I have to be open about my past. And so then he confessed to his partner that over the course of 2.5 months, which consisted of 12 total children's parties, this person worked as a semi-professional clown and made like $2,000. And ever since his fiance found this out, she was like really cold to him until he made this Reddit post being like, is this crazy? And then they ended up having a discussion about the Reddit post and coming to terms with it. But I just thought this was like such a bizarre thing. Like, how would you feel if you found out that Donna was a semi-professional clown for a couple months, but was like really embarrassed and hid it from you?
I would mostly be like bummed that she was so embarrassed because I would want to bring it up all the time.
Yeah, like I think it's something to be celebrated. And maybe that's part of the cultural change around clowns. Like they're having a moment right now.
Yeah, but this does feel like a very different type of clown. Like I wonder what the Miles version of clown thinks about children's birthday party clowns for hire.
Totally. And like when Miles was talking about like we need someone in marketing to clear this up, like maybe he wants to stop being affiliate. I don't know. We can't speak to him how he feels about that, but it does feel really different. Okay, so what's so interesting about this is two things really made me laugh about this. First was that once she found out and they came to terms, she started insisting that he do the clown performance for her. And he said that he couldn't do it in the apartment because the athleticism involved meant that he would almost certainly like break stuff in the apartment if he tried to do the routine there. Because he did a bunch of like parkour and like fake falling down and crashing into stuff as his routine. But then he also talks about the fact that the reason he stopped doing these weekend gigs was because of the terrifying clown hoax of 2016. And so he heard that people were getting ready to gang up and beat up clowns. And so he decided it was time to hang up the clown costume, so to speak. Do you remember this clown panic of 2016? Okay. Yes. I do too. And I feel like this maybe is part of why we're having a clown resurgence now, because we had such clown suppression in the mid 2010s. I feel like we should talk a little bit about this in case people aren't familiar with it. There were these like reports in mid 2016 of people disguising themselves as evil clowns in settings that were like very congruous to like for clowns to be there. So it would be like people in clown masks like showing up by the woods or like at schools or like suburban neighborhoods, and then people were like taking photos of it and reporting the photos. The whole thing was a very like creepypasta, like clowns where they aren't supposed to be.
And like clowns was already such a common phobia, I feel like.
Yeah. And this is like It was coming out around this time, like the movie or like the latest version of the movie. And I feel like clowns were really down bad during this time. Like it was almost entirely thought of as like a horror thing. And it got so serious that then there was like this huge violent reaction to it where people were saying they were going to like gang up and beat up clowns if they saw them to protect their neighborhoods from the clowns. And I did not know this, but apparently at the time there was like real action taken. Like October 2016, McDonald's decided that Ronald McDonald would keep a lower profile as a result of the incidents. And there was a significant increase in sales of clown suits. but during Halloween, people were like going armed while trick-or-treating. And yeah, this whole thing like accumulated in people thinking that there was going to be something horrible that would happen on Halloween.
Like people
and that's
were,
what
like,
I remember.
all of the clowns are like in cahoots. Like,
they're all in cahoots, and they're all going to come out nationwide on Halloween and basically do a purge. And there was none, but like news outlets were reporting this, and I remember being like concerned or being like, is this going to happen? Like I feel like people were like staying in that night. It was the night before Halloween.
It's like giving satanic panic.
Totally. But because of it, school districts in California, New Jersey, and Ohio issued a blanket ban on all clown costumes that year. Target pulled down clown masks from its website and stores, and it's like certain municipalities like instructed residents to not dress up as clowns. So
that's crazy.
It was like a total satanic clown panic. And yeah, I just like totally forgot about that after it happened.
Yeah.
But I'm happy clowns are able to be out and about again. There was never any like communal effort by clowns to take, like, that's not a community. There's not like actually a community of like evil clowns that's so global that they could have a mass impact. But I do remember being like, oh, like I do think this is kind of a weird opportunity for weirdos to commit violent acts if they want to align themselves with this.
Right. Yeah. Like it's just like lone wolves all participating.
Lone wolves putting on the red nose without any of the training.
They did not go to clown school. I feel like clown phobias are like performative.
Yeah.
Like, kind of is in the same category of hating the word moist to me.
Yeah, I know. Well, because it's just like, how often are you like you have a clown phobia? Like, name 5 times you've seen a clown. Like, name 5 interactions you've had with a clown. But also, like, maybe there's something there to the idea of clown hating is like, it's like you hate us because you ain't us. Like it's like being scared of avant-garde art, being scared of human connection, and like being, you know what I mean? Like, it's what about clowning was initially scary? People being goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know that people would probably be like, it's like the aesthetic and like interacting with kids, but no, I agree. I don't have that phobia at all. And then like the jester gooning. I have a phobia. I have a jester gooning phobia.
I still don't really know what that means.
I don't either.
We're just saying words at this point.
Yeah, but I just think that's like so funny that this guy like gave up his part-time job because of this clown panic. Imagine the effect it probably had on professional clowns at the time.
I know. I bet people were like, yeah, I'm a clown. No, not that kind of clown. I mean, they're probably still saying
they probably weren't saying it, or maybe they're like, oh yeah, I'm a barista.
I wonder what clown school enrollment looked like during that time.
Dude, probably grim. Probably really grim.
Yeah.
They probably were having to like lock their windows indoors at night. It was probably like Hogwarts lockdown style, like no students permitted to roam the grounds. The clown hunters are out there. Well, anyways, I'm glad we're out of the panic. So do you think that clowning could be your scene?
I don't think so. I don't think it's for me, but I am interested in going to more clown shows because I just like, want to see what else it can be. I definitely have a much better idea of what it is coming out of this episode, but it still feels pretty amorphous, and I want more examples.
Yeah. I almost feel like we need to like do a workshop.
I'm scared. I have the clown phobia, but just of being
That's
a
the
clown.
whole point, babes.
What about you?
I feel like it sounds like my scene as a participant in the audience. Like, I like going to funny, uncomfortable shows, but no, I mean, I don't think I'm going to become a clown, but I'd like to see more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of my scene in the sense that I think I'm going to go to a clown show soon. I'm interested.
Love. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah. I mean, we should go to someone Vashon this summer. I feel like.
My ask to people that are doing performance is like, please make it clear if you're a clown or not. Like,
if you're in line to be a clown, stay in line to be a clown and let me know.
Like
I
Vashon
can't
stuff. Like, I want to know if any of those people like consider what they're doing clowning.
Yeah, like, can you guys just stop clowning around and tell us, are you clowns? Because we don't want to waste any more time seeing things that aren't clowning.
Exactly.
No more like piggybacking on this ancient art form to get views. We want to be seeing the real stuff. No. I mean, it's cool. Do whatever you want, but yeah, I want to see the real stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Clown out. Bye.